On April 21st, 2016, the music world lost one of its most enigmatic artists. Prince Rogers Nelson was found dead at his Paisley Park estate in Minnesota, leaving behind a legacy that seemed complete. But what nobody expected was that his death would reveal one of the most extraordinary secrets in music history. A vault containing thousands of unreleased recordings that would redefine what we thought we knew about artistic genius. Prince lived in a state of constant creation, while other artists worked in cycles, recording, touring, resting. Prince operated on a different frequency entirely. His staff at Paisley Park became accustomed to late-night calls demanding new equipment setups or announcing sudden recording sessions. Sleep was optional. Music was essential. Those who worked closest to him described a man driven by an almost supernatural need to capture every musical idea. He would drop completed albums on his band members without warning, sometimes minutes before a show. Engineers learned to stay ready at all hours because Prince's creativity didn't follow a schedule. It followed inspiration. But perhaps most remarkably, Prince documented everything, not just the hits, not just the album tracks, but every experiment, every alternate version, every moment of musical exploration. While other artists might record 10 songs to choose 8 for an album, Prince would record 50 and release 8, storing the rest in what became known simply as the vault. Paisley Park wasn't just a recording studio. It was Prince's creative fortress. The 65,000-square-foot complex in Chanhassen, Minnesota, looked more like a modern art museum than a traditional recording facility. Its stark white exterior gave no hint of the musical treasures contained within its walls. Inside, the building functioned as an extension of Prince's mind. Recording rooms flowed into rehearsal spaces, which connected to offices and living areas. Purple lighting cast an otherworldly glow through corridors lined with gold and platinum records. Every space was designed with purpose. No corner was wasted, no room was merely decorative. Security was paramount but understated. Badge access, coded doors, and surveillance systems protected the building's secrets without drawing attention to them. Staff members, even those who had worked there for years, found certain areas perpetually off-limits. Prince never explained these restrictions, and nobody questioned them. At the heart of this musical labyrinth sat the vault, a genuine bank-style safe room with steel doors and reinforced walls. Those few who glimpsed inside described shelves stretching from floor to ceiling, packed with tapes, CDs, reels, and digital drives. Each item was meticulously labeled in Prince's handwriting, often with cryptic symbols and abbreviated titles that made sense only to him. When Prince died of an accidental overdose at age 57, he left no will and no instructions for his vast archive. The vault that had been his private domain suddenly became a mystery that needed solving. The problem was immediate and daunting. Only Prince knew the access codes. After legal consultations and careful consideration, estate representatives made a difficult decision. The vault would have to be opened by force. A drilling crew was brought to Paisley Park, and the sound of their equipment echoed through the usually music-filled halls like a somber announcement. The process took hours. The steel door was thicker than expected, designed to protect its contents from fire, flood, and time itself. When the final bolt gave way and the door swung open, the assembled team faced a sight that left them speechless. The vault contained more than anyone had imagined. Archivists and preservation experts, brought in to catalog the contents, found themselves facing what many consider the most significant private music collection ever assembled. There were complete albums no one had ever heard of, alternate versions of classic hits, and collaborations that had never been publicly acknowledged. The scope was staggering. Thousands of recordings spanning decades from the late 1970s through his final years. Some were rough demos, but many were fully produced, mixed, and ready for release. Prince hadn't been hoarding unfinished ideas. He had been building a complete alternate discography. Among the most remarkable discoveries were his original demo versions of songs he had given to other artists. For the first time, fans could hear Prince's own renditions of Manic Monday, which he had written for the Bangles, and Nothing Compares to You, which became a massive hit for Sinead O'Connor. These weren't rough sketches. They were complete, polished recordings that revealed new dimensions to familiar songs. Video archives proved equally impressive. Prince had documented rehearsals, studio sessions, and private performances with the same obsessive attention to detail he applied to his audio recordings. Much of this footage had never been intended for public viewing, capturing intimate moments of artistic process that offered unprecedented insight into his creative methods. The estate faced an unprecedented challenge: how to honor Prince's legacy while sharing his hidden treasures with the world. They established a careful, methodical approach to releasing vault material, treating each discovery with the respect it deserved. The first posthumous release, Piano and a Microphone, 1983, offered a glimpse into Prince's most intimate creative space. Recorded during a private studio session, it featured him alone at the piano, working through ideas that would later become some of his most celebrated songs. The raw, unguarded nature of the recording provided fans with an entirely new perspective on his artistic process. Originals followed, collecting Prince's demo versions of songs he had given to other artists. The album revealed the full scope of his generosity as a songwriter and his remarkable ability to envision how his compositions would sound in other voices, while still delivering definitive performances himself. Perhaps most significantly, the estate released Welcome to America, a complete album recorded in 2010 but never released during Prince's lifetime. The album's themes, technology's impact on society, racial inequality, political corruption, felt remarkably prescient when it finally reached audiences in 2021. Years after the vault's opening, archivists estimate they have only begun to explore its contents. Each new release reveals additional layers to Prince's artistic vision, demonstrating that his creativity never diminished. It simply exceeded what the music industry could accommodate during his lifetime. The vault releases have consistently maintained remarkable quality. There are no throwaway tracks, no obvious reasons why Prince chose to withhold these recordings. Instead, they reveal an artist who created not for commercial demands but for the pure necessity of expression. Modern listeners often note how contemporary these older recordings sound. Prince's exploration of technology, social justice, and human connection feels as relevant today as it did when he first laid down these tracks. His vault wasn't just a storage space, it was a time capsule of ideas ahead of their time. Paisley Park continues to function as both museum and active archive. Visitors can walk through the spaces where Prince created his magic, but the vault itself remains off-limits, its remaining contents carefully preserved and slowly revealed. The estate continues its methodical approach to releases, understanding that each new song carries enormous weight. These aren't just unreleased tracks. They are final communications from an artist who never stopped speaking through his music. Nobody knows exactly how many recordings remain in the vault, and perhaps that's appropriate. Prince always maintained an air of mystery, and his final gift to the world preserves that quality. What matters isn't the quantity of what remains, but the continued revelation of an artistic vision so vast it couldn't be contained in a single lifetime. The vault that once protected Prince's secrets now serves as a bridge between his earthly creativity and his eternal influence. Each release reminds us that true artistic genius doesn't end with death. It continues to inspire, challenge, and transform long after the final note has been played. Prince's vault stands as testament to the power of pure creative drive, proving that some artists create not for fame or fortune, but simply because they must. In preserving everything, he ensured that his conversation with the world would never truly end.